The rivalry no one talks about. Freddie Mercury versus David Bowie. There are rivalries that explode in public, and then there are those that never needed to. This is not a story about insults in interviews. It's not about fights on stage. This is a story about silence, about tension, about two icons who shared a room and quietly pushed each other to the limit. Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, two artists who reshaped music and who never truly coexisted in peace. In the early 1980s, both men were already legends. Freddie Mercury was the voice of Queen, a frontman built for stadiums, charismatic, explosive, uncontainable. He didn't just perform songs, he inhabited them. David Bowie was something else entirely. He wasn't chasing applause, he was constructing identities. Bowie didn't conquer the stage, he transformed it. They weren't competing for charts, they weren't competing for fame, they were competing for something deeper. Control. Control of the creative process, control of meaning, control of the room. When Freddie Mercury and David Bowie decided to work together, it felt inevitable. Two outsiders, two innovators, two minds that refused to stay still. The project that brought them together was a song that would become legendary, Under Pressure. But what most people never talk about is what actually happened behind closed doors. The sessions took place at Mountain Studios in Switzerland. From the very beginning, the atmosphere was tense, not hostile, not aggressive, just electric. Freddie thrived on chaos. He loved spontaneity, emotion, instinct. He would change melodies on the fly, rewrite lines without warning, follow feeling wherever it led. Bowie was the opposite, structured, conceptual, deliberate. Every choice had purpose, every word had weight. Two creative philosophies, one studio, no hierarchy. There were no shouting matches, no dramatic confrontations, but there was friction. Freddie wanted freedom, Bowie wanted structure. Freddie chased emotion, Bowie chased meaning, and neither man was willing to surrender control. People who were present during those sessions later described them as uncomfortable, not because they disliked each other, but because both men knew exactly who they were dealing with. This wasn't a collaboration, it was a chess match. Every suggestion felt like a challenge, every pause carried tension. Silence became a statement. One moment from those sessions has become legendary. At some point, Bowie reportedly stopped the recording, and he asked a simple question: why does everything have to be so theatrical? Freddie didn't argue, he didn't explain himself, he didn't defend his style. He simply sang louder, and Bowie understood the message. Under Pressure wasn't written, it was negotiated. The bass line, famously improvised, became the foundation. The vocals became a conversation, not harmony, contrast. Two voices pushing against each other, neither dominating, neither retreating. The tension you hear in that song is real. When the track was finished, everyone knew something extraordinary had happened. It was a global hit, a cultural landmark. But something else was equally clear. This collaboration would never happen again. After Under Pressure, Freddie Mercury and David Bowie kept their distance. No joint tours, no follow-up songs, no public explanation. Just silence. And in this case, silence spoke louder than words. They respected each other deeply, that much is undeniable. But respect doesn't always mean compatibility. Both men needed to be the center of gravity. Freddie was a force of nature, unpredictable, raw, overflowing.
Bowie was a controlled explosion, calculated, refined, architectural. Together they created brilliance, but brilliance, when concentrated, can become unstable. There is a reason Bowie rarely spoke in detail about Freddie, and a reason Freddie never tried to repeat the collaboration. They understood something most fans never did. Some creative partnerships are meant to happen only once, not because they failed, but because they worked too well. Years later, after Freddie Mercury's death, David Bowie spoke with restraint, no mythology, no exaggeration, just acknowledgement, as if he knew that trying to explain Freddie would somehow diminish him. This was not a rivalry built on hatred, it was built on mirrors. Each man saw in the other a reflection of something dangerous: talent without limits, ego without apology, art without compromise. And when two forces like that collide, something has to give. Under Pressure remains their only shared legacy, a song about fear, about expectation, about weight. Unintentionally, it became a portrait of their relationship. Two voices, one moment, held together by tension. Freddie Mercury would leave the world as one of the greatest performers in history. David Bowie would continue reinventing himself until the very end. Different paths, same magnitude, and a single song where their worlds touched and immediately pulled apart. Some rivalries burn in public, others live quietly inside the music itself. This one was never spoken, never confirmed, never denied, but you can still hear it, in every pause, every breath, every note, because sometimes the greatest rivalries don't destroy careers, they create masterpieces, and then they disappear.